Chapter 19, Thursday, the day of the operation. Griffin could not remember school time so utterly wasted. Mr. Martinez might as well have been delivering his lessons in Swahili for all that Griffin was listening. His mind was lost in the details of the plan. It was like being scheduled to wrestle an alligator later, but right now you were expected to alphabetize spelling words and pretend it was important. He could tell all the other team members were also feeling the pressure. When Ben went down to the nurse for his allergy medication, he tripped over his own feet on the way out. Pitch was focused and distant. Logan was mumbling to himself more than usual, and his ramblings had nothing to do with the upcoming auditions. Savannah was so distracted that she was halfway through her sandwich before remembering to ask the cafeteria ladies if it had been made using dolphin-safe tuna. Even Darren was quiet, withdrawn, and slightly less obnoxious than usual. As for Melissa, nobody could tell. She might have been freaking out behind that curtain of hair. One thing was for sure, she was still on the job, toting her laptop around, monitoring Swindle's email. It was after lunch, 0 hour minus 6, when she approached Griffin. "We have a problem," she whispered. Griffin tried not to let his trepidation show as he looked at the message on the screen. "Mr. Palomino, due to increased media attention, Worthington Auction House has decided to pick up your item on Thursday afternoon rather than Friday morning. Our bonded courier will be at your house between 4:30 and 5 p.m. Please reconfirm your address, 531 Park Avenue Extension, Cedarville, New York. Yours truly, Eric Mansfield, Courier Dispatch." All Griffin's panic came out before Ben's mouth. "That's 2 hours before we move in," the smaller boy cried. "Griffin, what are we going to do? We can't steal a card that's already in New York City." Griffin was practicing deep breathing, struggling to keep control. "Okay, I'm glad this happened. This is good news." Ben was appalled. "How do you figure that?" "Something unexpected happens in every plan. Now that we've got that out of the way, and we can work around it." "The card not being there anymore isn't something we can work around," Ben rasped. "Swindle hasn't seen this message yet," Melissa reminded them. "I stopped it before it even got to his computer. Couldn't we just answer the auction guy and pretend to be Swindle? We could tell him to come a few hours later." "Too risky," said Griffin, whistling between his teeth. "If they can't do it, they might try to phone. What would be perfect is if they just got lost." "Maybe we could give them wrong directions," Ben suggested. "They're not asking for directions," Melissa pointed out. "They've probably got one of those satellite navigation systems." Griffin's thoughtful expression bloomed into a wide grin. "Let me see that computer." He swiveled the laptop around and began to type. "Mr. Mansfield, urgent, note address correction. The town is not Cedarville. It is Cedar Springs. Thanks. S. Wendell Palomino." The three exchanged nervous smiles. Cedar Springs was in Westchester County, 60 miles away. At 6:30, 0 hour minus 1, Logan Kellerman rode his bike down Park Avenue Extension and pulled into the driveway of number 530. Eli Mullenroney was already in his usual spot at the front porch. The only difference in the retired miner's unbreakable routine was that now there were 2 rockers out there, separated by a low table that held the backgammon board. "I'm surprised you've got the guts to show your face around here," the old man taunted, "after how badly I kicked you around last time." Logan smiled. "It's only 11 games to 7. Losing, but not too obviously, was all part of the acting job. This role would be for Logan what Pirates of the Caribbean was for Johnny Depp. They set up the pieces, anchoring the board with a stone as to protect against the stiff breeze. "Windy tonight," Logan commented. "I wasn't sure you'd be out." Mullenroney cackled. "We're catching the northern edge of that big storm pounding the Carolinas. Gusts up to 50 miles per hour. He rolled the dice. Logan looked across the street to the steep roof of Swindle's house and shuddered. As he began to play with Mr. Mullenroney jumping to an early advantage, neither took much notice of the 3 girls who were rollerblading on the sidewalk. Logan, of course, knew they were Melissa, Savannah, and Pitch. Nor was he surprised when all 3 chose the patch of grass across the streetlight to sit down and tighten their skate laces. Furthermore, he understood that only 2 of them were attending to the laces. Melissa, hidden by the others, was unscrewing the access panel at the base of the pole. She slipped on an insulated glove, reached in with a tiny wire cutter, and snipped every electrical cable she could find. Then she replaced the faceplate, and the three girls bladed off along the street. The entire production was over in less time than it took Mr. Mulroney to decide how to play his double fives. The door of number 531 opened, and Swindle stepped out, dressed in a voluminous New York Rangers jersey that almost covered his ample stomach and stretched almost to his knees. He got on into his Honda Element and drove off in the direction of the highway. Griffin would be pleased. Swindle had taken the bait. Everything was setting up nicely for the operation tonight. A few minutes later, when the streetlights came on, the one in front of the Palomino home remained dark.